Travis Wayne Goodsell. So as you can see, I was able to get my stuff bedded today. It didn't come without a pain in the ass though. So if anybody remembers, back in August 2022 when I did videos about how I was banned from my storage unit, so apparently the manager had, or property manager had double locked it. There was my lock and then she put on another lock, and I never knew about it because apparently you're not allowed to work on condensing your boxes and transferring to smaller units. That's considered loitering. And so she had the day off today, and so after standing out in the freezing cold, it hurts when your fingers freeze. And finally able to get another manager from another store to come over and help me. But my googly moogly. So that's now done and over with. And the bed looks pretty good. That's awesome. I was worried I'd have to throw it out, and I don't want to. It's a very nice Serta bed. And I realized that I did have a desk. It's still in the box. It still needs to be assembled. But yeah. And so it's just going to take some time now to assemble everything, or take everything out of the box and put them in their places. That's going to take some time. Because I got to keep doing videos, don't I, guys? You're just so excited about my videos. Just all the thousands upon millions of people who want to see my videos. Apparently, a TikTok Mormon superstar, Taylor Frankie Paul, saw that in the news. She's been arrested in her Harriman home for domestic violence and other abuses. So, wow. Lock her up. But, yeah, Mormons just can't be good, can they? They're always doing something bad. And I remember when I first got here, Mormons were complaining, oh, whenever it's a Mormon in the news, they always make sure to point out that they were a Mormon. When it's some other religion, they don't even bother to point that out. Well, if Mormons would quit committing crimes... So, speaking of crimes, this is their exemplar. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints hid billions. I think it was the 32 billion that was invested into the stock market. And so, yeah, I've already done this video. This is the SEC, believes. No, they don't believe. The SEC doesn't do things just because they believe things. They found evidence of crime. And I noticed the church is trying to put it out as a settlement rather than a fine. Because apparently the SEC was checking in, investigating back in 2019 when the whistleblower filed his report. And so that's a good thing from that, as the IRS hasn't even bothered to reply yet. But maybe it's coming. Wouldn't that be nice? And so the church are confessing to have made mistakes, but there's some problems that KUTV2, I think, is the thing. I couldn't find their YouTube video of it. They don't really deal with YouTube videos. But Elizabeth McKiernan, good Irish name, isn't it? Or is it Welsh? McKinnon. Because there's Mac and then there's Mick. And then I think it's Mick that's the Irish, isn't it? But that could be her husband's name. The National Desk. So, I mean, she could be from Jamaica. Jamaica, man. I was in Jamaica, Queens. Been there. I was on my mission. French Guianan. Yeah, there's lots of different nationalities represented in the Bronx branch. Over 52, I believe the branch president told us one sacrament meeting. But nobody should be going to church anymore. It's a real simple philosophy. It's a real simple doctrine. When the leaders of a church are caught committing crime, what does it mean, those of you who are members of such a religion? It means your religion's corrupt and you need to get the hell out and run for your lives. If you are still in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints after the SEC has come down on the church, and you're still thinking it's true and that Jesus leads it by inspiration, because this is what the church has been leading Mormons to believe, that Jesus told the church to invest the $32 billion in violation of SEC guidelines and laws and rules into the stock market. And they got caught and they got punished. And I read over this 9-page article that I copied and pasted for my Egyptian gold plates. I can't say 200 pound because that's the abridged version. I haven't done the abridged version yet. This is the big historical documents version. And so I can't understand why Mormons are still staying in, other than they're exactly like every other cult religion, every other occult religion, every other brainwashed group. And it's horrifying, literally horrifying, because I've been doing videos since I left the church because the bishop extorted me, my church attendance, to drop and dismiss my education in anthropology of the ancient Middle East, because that's what Joseph Smith taught me to do and inspired me to do. And so I wanted to learn what Joseph Smith learned, and I got the education necessary to find those answers. And I did, and I'm a Joseph Smith Mormon. But it's not Christian. That's the whole thing. And so, yes, this is what I've been trying to get across to you guys. Is that the church has already been caught in other lies, and there's been a mass exodus out of the church. The majority of the exodus has been just Mormons who just give up and don't go to church anymore. But there's still a lot who became ex-Mormons and signed the official documents and gave the middle finger to the church and stormed off because of the lies and the abuse. And yet the Mormons who stay under those conditions were accusing those who left of apostasy, that they were snowflakes, that their feelings were hurt. They weren't studying the scriptures. They weren't praying. They weren't going to the temple. But now, the church has been caught by the United States government again. Remember the Edmunds Tucker Act? Oh, you don't remember? Oh, why not? The church doesn't talk about it? Why not? Because the church ceased to exist on the face of the earth. They didn't want to talk about it. They wanted to make Mormons believe that the church was still together, that the priesthood would never be taken from the earth again, and, well, it did with the death of Joseph. Brigham Young didn't have the authority of the priesthood to be the president. He had Joseph murdered and usurped the church. You don't get that authority by doing a coup. But nonetheless, Mormons keep pushing the lie, because you're Danite descendants, aren't you? You are the enemy of the people. And you will not own it. You keep spreading the lie that you're the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that's Joseph's church, and he was a Christian, and Jesus was his Christ. You just gaslight the whole world when you know you're lying. And so those of you who are still in the church, but you're not a Danite descendant, or if you are a Danite descendant, you weren't privy to the secret, sacred information, like me, and it's because it came from my mom's pioneer ancestry, and so the women of the Danites weren't given the information, and that's why I suspect I did not know about that. But clearly I saw the white supremacist bigotry, racism, sexism, and other hatreds in my mom, as she just made excuses for it by saying, well, my parents were worse. Well, I'd never heard it from Grandpa. Grandma, yeah, there are some things as I look back and I go, maybe she was. But again, my mom's side are the Danite descendants. But the others were convert. Well, not my dad's mom side. That's the one who was on Joseph Smith's side, the Fulmers. John Solomon Fulmer, who gave Joseph Smith his pistol. See, none of the Danites who escorted him to the jail gave him their pistol as they left, or even to Willard Richards or John Taylor. They brought Joseph Smith to the jail and left. And they were all Danites from what I have done in my research. It was just John Solomon Fulmer, who was a part of the Nauvoo Legion with Joseph, who was loyal. And so, yeah, there's some, privilege information that was passed on through that family line, such as Joseph Smith was not polygamist, because Desdemona Fulmer is said to have been one of Joseph Smith's wives. The 23? No. Our family has passed it on down that it was Willard Richards who forged the sealing documents after Joseph's deaths so that Desdemona Fulmer could be taken care of by the Brighamite Church and be taken hostage to the Salt Lake Valley, because she refused to be sealed to any of Brigham, and Brigham were his 12. And so John Solomon Fulmer did the token, in order to stay with Desdemona Fulmer and not be murdered by Brigham Young because of certain secret information Joseph Smith passed to him about a future descendant. But the church has done it again, and it's the same thing. The Edmunds-Tucker Act was not about polygamy. That became part of it, but that was not the main push, because polygamy had been tried before, I think by Edmunds in Congress, and he was unsuccessful in getting the church to stop polygamy. And so when he teamed up with Tucker, the Edmunds-Tucker Act succeeded, and that involved their Perpetual Immigration Fund. This was where Joseph Smith used tithing to fund the corporation, the Perpetual Immigration Fund, to bring Mormon converts who were lied to about the name of the church and the church in general as Christian rather than Jewish, and that it was the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so that he could bring them to the Salt Lake Valley, because the United States had taken over his kingdom. See, like I said, when you're doing research, you got to put the dates, the people, the places, and the events all in separate categories so that you can check and see the big picture. And so in 1847, Brigham Young arrives in the valley, establishes his kingdom, murders Indians. 1848, Mexico secedes. The United States takes over Mexican territory in the United States. It's now United States territory. And that's where the story of the one guy rushing to Congress to make sure that it's not named Deseret, but this place is named Utah. And the territory of Utah was a little bit bigger than the state of Utah as it is now. But because it took away Brigham Young's kingdom, he was pissed. Because he had established Zion. It was supposed to last for a millennium. But no, he was going to raise up an army to go up against America in the future for the latter days. And that has to do with 9/11, 1826 in Canandaigua, New York, with Joseph Smith Sr. and William Morgan. But the Perpetual Immigration Fund was then organized or incorporated the very next year in 1849. He was purposely bringing in Mormons to raise up an army. And so then in the midst of that, 1851, he gets up and says polygamy will now be openly practiced. It will now be the law of the celestial kingdom. None of this monogamy crap of Joseph Smith. It's now polygamy. Oh, and by the way, we found secret documents of Joseph that we'll publish the year before I die that will show you that Joseph Smith said it. See? It says it's by Joseph. He was going to murder Emma. And you guys fall for this? Dear God. Again, get all of the information listed. And you'll go, wow, he is the bad guy. Joseph Smith was innocent after all. We were picking on the wrong person. You know, it's disgusting to me when I read over from Joseph Smith when he talks about his name will be had for good and evil. Well, it's only been had for evil by this church. As missionaries go out and say, yeah, the Joseph Smith visions were literal history. They were real. Joseph Smith talks with the dead, performs magic tricks in a hat. It just... And so, yes, the only bad press about Joseph Smith came because of Brigham Young and his Danites and this church to this day. Everything. Because if Brigham Young had not joined the church, where's that the... None of this would have happened. But of course, this church got started because of whom the Danites were prior to 9/11, 1826. And so, more on the Perpetual Immigration Fund. It wasn't just to allow them to come back to Utah. He was human trafficking them. And because of establishing polygamy openly, it now became sex trafficking after 1851's announcement. But there was some sealings of polygamy prior to that. And so women were being sex trafficked in the Mormon church. You know, this is a bad thing, guys. You know, I'll still have the one person who puts a thumbs down on all my videos. But, you know, if other Mormons are listening and you think, you leave us alone, it's religious freedom, Jesus said to do it. I just refer to you to the Book of Mormon and to the Article of Faith number 12, and to the Doctrine and Covenants, and why not? The Bible too. You can't commit crimes. If you believe in Jesus, I dare you to find where Jesus allows for crimes. Dear God, what is wrong with people? They just blame Jesus to commit crimes where you can't find it. Nowhere in Scripture does it say to be the villain, to be the bad guy, to commit sin, to commit crime, to abuse your neighbor, to murder, to lie, to steal. Where? Find it for me. I can't find it. So that excuse is just sickening to me when I hear it from Mormons. And I heard it in the shelter, talking to him about why I'm a critic of the church. And he says, well, I'm sure the prophets have, Jesus has some other plan in mind that we just don't know yet. And I'm just going, it's a crime. And so he doesn't want to talk to me anymore and associate with me. But seriously, you can't just do that either. You become complicit. It instantly shows the church is not true. Because the prophets lead you to believe they get their information, they get their orders from Jesus directly, or from inspiration of Jesus. And they made the decisions to scam the government in violation of SEC laws. Game, set, match. And so more on this, because tithing was involved in the human trafficking, that's where the Edmunds-Tucker Act came in, is that the tithing was used for illegal activity when tithing was already illegal activity, but they hadn't developed the term protection racket yet. That was after the mobs in the United States in the early mid-90s, 1900s, were getting busted and caught. And so they then created the RICO Act for racketeering, what other acronym it stands for. And so, now do you understand what I'm telling you and warning you that this church is just criminally corrupt to the core? Now do you understand why this is a breath of fresh air finally? Finally. Since 2008, and even before, I've been in bondage to the church. All because I'm an anthropologist of the ancient Middle East who knows the truth about Joseph Smith being Jewish, not Christian. Because once you take a different viewpoint and apply it to Joseph's works, everything changes. Because you've been using Mormon Christianity to interpret Joseph's works. And Mormons are confused. Mormons are asking questions and being told not to ask those questions or you're going to get excommunicated. And the prophets say, that we are requesting that you take all of your questions to your local leaders, specifically the stake president, for criminal or for punishment, criminal punishment, corporal punishment, and so on, and so even just the whistleblower alone, you should have believed him, because the church came out and confessed. This is what we do. We're just following the parable of the talents. You're not allowed to. As a religion, you're supposed to be a charity. You're supposed to give the money to the poor. And yet, thanks to Reagan, we've got Reagan economics. And so when you walk the streets of downtown, especially around Temple Square, you'll see the signs that warn you not to give money directly to the poor who are panhandling for their survival. They instead say to give that money to a charitable organization who are designed to help the poor. You know, like the shelter, where Pamela Atkinson was honored today by M. Russell Ballard. She became the spokesperson, or she became the figurehead for the incarceration, indefinite incarceration, the human trafficking, the torturing, and the murders of the homeless in Utah. And I am a victim and a witness to all of it. And I've been reporting it to you. And the church has been involved in that operation. Again, it's because the church is not true. Why can't you get this? Why is it so hard to believe? And I hear the news. They keep trying to say, well, the SEC believes. And when James Huntsman went to Congress requesting a hearing on the church for this tithing issue, the news was saying, well, I don't think they're going to listen, and I don't think you'll go anywhere. You know, they're making excuses to protect the church on the news. They will not investigate the church. They're biased. You're not supposed to be biased in the press. We, the people, need to be able to trust you to tell us the facts and the truth so that we can be properly informed. And instead, you've allowed Mormons to live the lie and think that all is well in Zion. And it's not. Because we're not in Zion, we're in hell. What more do I need to go into? How many more videos must I make until this is perfectly clear to all Mormons still in the church? It's a criminal organization. It is not a religion. There is no Jesus. There is no heaven. It doesn't exist because they're a lie. They're deceiving you. So, happy birthday, little Les. Well, she wants nothing to do with me thanks to her mother. And here come the tears. But, I mean, the church just, they just lie and they try to cover it up. And it just, my brother is involved in the prophets getting the wrong information about why Mormons are leaving. And do you understand why I'm so antagonistic towards my own brother? It's because he's an ass. He's been an ass his whole life. And it's not just because of his awkward mental capacity. It's because of that awkward mental capacity with his memorization without learning how to learn. Makes him an ass. I can't think of the movies offhand where I've seen that, of people who, the Brainiac guy, Sheldon Cooper. Is that the name of the spin-off show of Big Bang Theory? Yeah, Sheldon Cooper. That's sort of my brother, but Sheldon's a little bit cooler than my brother. But Yeah, I mean, string theory, Sheldon? Seriously? The university let you work there on that? Oh, dear God. I need to go into every single field of science and fix it. Everybody's getting it wrong. And that's how I became the foremost expert in the anthropology of the ancient Middle East. It's because people did it wrong. See, Egyptologists will say that they've got everything, they know everything now. Everything's all set, and we got it all figured out. No, guys, you don't. You're missing thousands of signs in the sign list with their translations. So that's where I come in. I fixed it. So Paleo-Hebrew as well. You know, you got William Foxwell Albright, who screwed it up with a fallacious argument, biasing his research. But yeah, the KUTV2 news did a whole timeline from 1997 to the present. And dear God, the church knew, and they still, it's just unbelievable. They're still committing crimes. Internal audits were conducted several times. They tried to create a clone LLC back in 2011. And then in 2015, they got caught. Someone connects LLCs to Ensign Peak Advisors. I mean, this is unbelievable how corrupt the church is, guys. Why are you still a Mormon? You have to leave. Otherwise, you are complicit. You are going to be associated with a criminal organization. This is a mob organization. And dear God. But yeah, it does look like the SEC first contacted the church back in 2019, and then there's nothing since then. And so yeah, when the SEC finally caught them, then all of a sudden they stop. And that's how it is with criminals. They get caught, and so they lay low, hope it goes away. But so yeah, here's their statement. Let's see. I saw the statement in here somewhere. Where was the statement? Is it back near the top? Before they begin the thing. Yeah, the church acknowledged it was contacted and adjusted its approach to the required filings. So yeah, the SEC gave them an opportunity to fix things. Similar to what YouTube did when my brother complained about privacy violations. No, I just responded with the law. I was following it, and so yeah, YouTube had to back off. But I did conform and comply that I was wrong about him working in the membership department. Because it's worse now that I found out the truth. So yes, that's how it is. When a Mormon corrects me about the information I present in a video, and so I fact check myself. That's what I do as a scientist. I keep checking to make sure I'm accurate, make sure I'm correct. And so yes, I do make mistakes. And one such one was with Coopersmith shop rather than Coppersmith shop on the Joseph Smith farm. I had thought it was a typing error on the picture of the farm. And so I was plugging the Coppersmith shop into my equation for theory testing. And I was going, oh, okay, well, the plates used for the Book of Mormon for the print press would be in copper. That would explain why he has copper. He's got a Coppersmith shop there at the farm. Turns out that's not the reason. He got copper through another means. It's a coopersmith shop, which is a barrel making operation. And you use barrels for the farm to store the apples or whatever he grows there on the farm. Plus, you use copper instead of wood for when you have something that can be making sparks and causing fires, such as gunpowder. Why would he be involved in supplying gunpowder to people? 9/11, 1826. And so that would justify him bringing in the copper to his coopersmith shop for barrels of gunpowder to sell to the neighboring militias and to his York Rights members. Ta-da! And so, yeah, learning the truth does present a more accurate, bigger picture. And so I've been teaching you guys this over the years. And so other people who are doing videos are getting more views about this than I am. Why is that? Why are people hesitant to watch my videos but flock to the other people who don't know what I know? Is it because you don't like knowledge? You'd rather listen to the misinformation? I want people's responses rather than truth? Yeah, apparently that is it. But, yeah, there's no excuse anymore, Mormons. You cannot claim to be the true church. You try it, and the rest of us throughout the whole entire earth can say, you lie. Because you can't say you love if you're a criminal. You can't say you're true when you're a criminal. You can't say that you're good when you're still in the church that is criminal. You getting the point? There is no justification for wickedness. It's a deal breaker. And every single one of you must now make the choice to leave. No church on Sunday. It's Friday, isn't it? Not Saturday. I still got to figure out how to get food now. I've got to go shopping for food, and I got to get it myself. So I'll have to do it piece by piece. I did get a monthly bus pass. I'm not sure how it works. If it's 30 trips or if it's one trip for 30 days. I'm not sure how that works with UTA. I've never used that one before. I've never gotten it before as a gift. So, yeah. What else, guys? What else? I'm trying to think of what other excuse you're going to try to make to get out of not leaving the church. And there is none. There is no excuse that you can make other than you are knowingly complicit and you don't care because you encourage the church to be criminal because it makes you criminal. So, yeah, it's still light. Oh, it's now dark outside. I've got my bed that's blocking, so that's why. So the light is up here. I have to get here so that you can hear my voice better. But I don't think I need to worry about it too much. I hope I'm not too loud for my neighbor. I met him today. And so I just hope my coughing isn't disturbing him either. I gotta get running again. So I need to find the box with my clothes, my running clothes. Although I'm concerned, they may not fit me. Because these jeans, I have to wear a belt. I had to buy 3 sizes lower so that they won't fall off. And so when I take off my belt to wash the jeans now, zip. And so, yeah, that's not going to be effective for running purposes, especially in the cold. So, yeah, the shorts, too, when it gets warmer. I'm probably going to have to buy all new clothes, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the money necessary to get all the new clothes. See, that's one of the things I got screwed on with this whole move, shelter giving resources, and then backing out, saying we don't have the resources, nothing we can do about it. But yeah, I stuck it to the other who made promises. Oh yeah, I can cover all that. I can get that for you. We can get that for you. We can get that for you. So yeah, but yeah, I didn't get an initial food supply. I didn't get clothing or furnishings or any of that. But yeah, the March rent will be paid. So, alrighty. It's so nice having actual internet that's faster than what I had out in West Valley. Because I did that hour and 4-minute video like that. It was awesome. So yeah, I can, when I get things organized, I can start working on lesson videos and longer videos like this one. We're near the end of the day here, aren't we? But I don't get to sleep on the floor. I don't get to sleep in the tub. Oh, I can sleep on this, or I can even sleep on the bed if I lay it out flat. So, yay! I'll have to wash my blankets, though. So, final year, guys. The final year. But yeah, the church was prophesied by Joseph Smith to fall because it's the great and abominable church. It fell. But do Mormons recognize that it fell? Or are you in denial?